Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Chris Kalaboukis, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcasts. I greatly appreciate it. So this is going to be an interesting episode because I've had this idea in my head for a really long time. I don't remember how long I've had this idea in my head, but this came about when I was doing political podcasts and other types of podcasts. And I had this idea in my head that we seem to be in a very divisive time. We seem to be in a time where we're people trying to pit themselves against each other instead of trying to help each other. We seem to be in a time where there's all this tribalism going on. There's all these things where people are trying to go into their little camps and fight each other instead of working towards the betterment of humans as a whole. Because I'm all about working towards the benefit of humans as a whole. In fact, we should all be working for solutions that will improve humanity. All of humanity, not just one segment of humanity, not just this kind of humanity or that kind of humanity, but all humans. Everybody. And I think we've kind of, in our latest divisiveness, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it could be America, it could be anywhere else. In our latest divisiveness of all things, we're always looking against, there's always an enemy or somebody we need to fight against. But they're all human beings. Everybody out there, everybody who's looking at this, everybody who's understanding this, everyone who's listening to this, everyone who's watching this is a human being. And all human beings should be helped to flourish. I don't think we should be separating ourselves and saying, oh, Republicans versus Democrats, or whites versus blacks, or Asians versus this, or male versus female, or whatever. We should all be working to help the entire human race. So I came up with this thing called the Human Uplift Movement, or HUM for short. And I created 9 rules for the future in the same style as, Jordan Peterson's rules for life, etc. 9 rules for the future. And in those 9 rules for the future, I created subheadings. So I wrote out a subheading on these 9 rules for the future. Things we should do in order to improve the lot of humanity in general. So I wrote out these 9 rules, and I wrote out some subcategories under each one of these rules. And then I just let it percolate. This was a couple of years ago when I wrote this. So the other day, I came across it again. I thought, 9 rules for the future. This looks interesting. Oh yeah, the Human Uplift Movement. I remember that. I remember thinking about doing something like that. And then I noticed that I had written topics out for each one of these things, but I hadn't written anything under the topic, just the topic itself. And I thought to myself, I've always thought that one of the really interesting things about ChatGPT and AI and OpenAI is it possible that OpenAI may actually be able to solve some of the problems human beings have because it isn't a person. It doesn't have the same biases as human beings. Wouldn't it be interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting if some of the biggest challenges the human beings have could be solved by an AI? That AI could literally create a solution for something that we stumble over because it knows so much more than us. So I thought to myself, this is interesting. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take each one of these prompts and I'm going to have it write a chapter on this prompt. And I'm going to write a book. I'm going to have it write a book for me. So I'm going to come up with a concept. I'm going to come up with the prompts. I'm going to come up with the subheadings. I'm going to come up with the subjects of each chapter. And then I'm going to have it write the book for me. And then I'm going to use some other tools to make sure it's got properly grammatical. And I'm going to write some introductions and a few other things. But the largest part of the book The concepts will be human, but some of the exposition will be AI. And I'm going to publish this book this week, or very, very soon. It'll be called 9 Rules for the Future, and it'll be outlined by me, written by ChatGPT, with some text by myself as well, and edited by other online grammatical tools. And I'm going to publish this book and see what happens. Because I firmly believe that one of the things we're getting bogged down in is that we're getting really bogged down in being divisive, or not looking at uplifting the entire human race, but just uplifting our piece of it, or our portion of it, or our section of it, instead of the entire thing. I always thought that that was what the future was all about. I always thought that that's what we were trying to do as a human species, is to try and help everybody to do better, to try and help everybody to flourish, not just one group over another. And all I read in the news and all I see are initiatives which talk about uplifting one group over another, instead of uplifting all groups. I want to uplift everybody. I want everybody to flourish. All human beings should flourish. And if we need to come together with AI to help to build that movement, to uplift all of humanity, then so be it. So, in the notes below, you will see links to the book, The 9 Rules for the Future, written by me and ChatGPT. Grab a copy. The entire book is on the website, 9rulesbook.com. But if you want to get a copy of the book, you can also get a copy of the book. You can get a paperback copy of the book, or a Kindle version of the book, which should be published by the time this video goes up. So let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on where we are with uplifting all humans instead of just parts of them? Do you think we're making progress in that regard? Do you think we're actually working for the flourishing of all humans, or we're just doing it bit by bit for some groups and not others? Tell me what you think. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.